My apologies. We've got fire suppression system companies who want to come in to Rochester and go, yeah, we're supposed to service these. And I'm going, I don't even know that we have a contract with you people. And it's crazy how often people actually try to jump in and do that. So anyway, so as we know, this is a mastermind, so it is really the most beneficial when it's just us sharing and participating. I know we've got at least one person joining us for the first time. Is anybody else joining us for the first time other than Jen? Just Jen? All right. So here's the simple way that this is going to work. Everybody gets to participate. But the way we start out is with a simple, what's good since we met the last time? Tell us something good, focused around our mentoring practice, working with the agents. So share and let's see what's going on and working for us.
My mentee, she got her first listing. It's my sister, and she's been licensed for a little over a month now. So she's got her first listing coming up.
There we go. And that's what we always want to hear right there. That's fantastic. Because really, just as a reminder, it's our goal. It's not a standard, but a goal that when we get somebody started, that they have their first signed contract within 30 days. And if they do, it's probably because they've been talking to their sphere of influence. Was that her sphere of influence?
Yeah, it was my dad. So it was my sphere as well, but I let her go with the listing.
Solana? My computer froze up right there.
I said it was from her sphere, but it's my sister. So that he actually came from my dad. It was a lead from him. So it was I let her take that one since it's her first listing.
You're so nice.
Yes, I am.
Dad always did like her best.
Right?
That's awesome. Hey, let's do some more shares. What other good news have we got surrounding our mentors or what you've been doing mentoring? I should say mentees.
I don't have any mentees right now, but I will say that I'm kind of coaching my former mentee who has two of them. So it's a little bit of a trickle down effect. But one thing I will say, and I'm sure a lot of us will agree. So my girl comes to me, so Erin comes to me and says, Nicole, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do because you did it all. And now like we only have to do a small portion of it. So I will say thank you. Thank you for listening to us, streamlining the process, getting these are the things to do day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, because I feel like by the time they finally come to us, there's a little bit more of a readiness or potential that we might have had to weed some people out so we don't even bog the agents down. So I just want to give a shout out to that. I think there's a lot of progress. Obviously, we can always grow from it too and keep getting better, but I think there's been a lot of progress made. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that, Nicole. And I think that's a key. You know, I know working with mentees directly here in Rochester, one of the things Brenda and I are running into is, and it's beyond me, I don't get it. So this might be an open conversation that I start. But you go, here you go, just go do this. Here's day 1, do everything it says. And it seems difficult to get them to go on that. So I appreciate that, Nicole, but I think it really does. If we just keep it as simple as what it is. There's speed board, do those things. It's day 1, do those things. That really does make a huge difference. Who else can get a share out there? Brenda.
Hi there. Kenyana Hopkins. I want to give a shout out to her. She's my mentee. She is doing a great job. She's working on her 3rd transaction. She is handling a relist right now. She had the property listed. Excuse me, they had to take it off the market. She has it back on. and they're negotiating with the buyer right now to get it sold. So had just congratulations to Kenyatta. She's really working hard, and she's not even a full-time realtor. She owns her own business, so she's a dual agent, but she's doing such a great job.
Awesome, awesome. And I know Brenda is very good at, of course, she's continuing on the mentoring part, but she still is working to make sure that they meet once a week. Even though we passed that directly to the manager, Brenda carried Kenyatta on from when she was a mentor back in Troy. So,
Yeah. And the
good
one
deal.
thing I'd
Andy?
like to add to that, Darwin, is
Yeah.
that she is diligent about meeting every Monday. And our meetings start at 1 o'clock. Sometimes we're not done until 3:30 in the afternoon, but she has really been on point when it comes to attending the majority of our meetings. You know, every now and again, either she has had to, and sometimes I've had to cancel and reschedule. But this past week, you know, we met on Zoom because we couldn't get together in person. So I just think that helps a lot when you have someone that's committed.
Yeah, and I'll tell you that it makes a huge difference when they're committed. What we need to make sure of is that we don't let people slide when, what's the word? Well, we'll use the same, but lose their commitment. Because we gotta encourage and recommit, or get them to recommit to their goals, or we gotta help them decide that, you know, then maybe it's time. But again, most of that is really where we've done that shift, as Nicole brought up, over to the managers. So if there's nothing else, that's probably one of the things that I'm going to want to discuss with today. But any other great news, the positives that you've had? Go ahead, Alana.
My first mentee, he's been with us for 6 months now. He only has one more transaction till he's out of the mentor program. So he's been working hard.
There we go. Another great plus. It's a win.
I have one, Darwin.
Go for it.
Jason Fales is off the mentorship program as of last week.
Oh, yay. Fantastic. Good for Jason. I love it. And for his mentor.
Well, she's kind of shady.
I love it. All right. So let's shift gears. Let's talk about, and it's been a month. The last time we met was actually face to face. We announced, rolled out a few changes to what is going on now. So any questions about what we had then, or anything that you guys need help with that you've run into in the last 30 days? Who's going first?
Darwin?
Yes.
I have not ran into anything, but I was talking with Stacy and Heather. Now that they're handling the check-ins with the mentees,
Yeah.
I asked them, well, now Jason's my only mentee left. Now he's done, but on the future ones, I was hoping when they get those reports that when they could scan it into us.
Yeah.
Our email. So, because I mean, 2 accountabilities are better than just one manager once a week.
Absolutely right. So what I would say is just put that request to them. That was actually kind of guidance direction that we did give. It's not just send it to me, but to make sure that the manager got it to me and the mentor. So
Right, thank you.
hit them directly with that. I will have your back on that, but that is something that we want. And it's interesting, as much as we did cover there with everyone, there was still a great deal of questions that came out of it. So, you know, matter of fact, you hit it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that up. Let's see right here. So here's what I'm going to share is the new report. Everybody get a look at that? We just want to make sure
we can
that
see it.
you can see it. Okay. So, you know, the biggie that we did on this as far as a change was really just clarification to what we really want to look for. So the first one was the aspect of not necessarily the days that they're working, because there's work and then there's what we were really concerned about, which is the number of days that they're actually spending prospecting, and in this case, lead generation. Otherwise, more of the active rather than the passive. If we focus on the actively passive, we're probably going to get somebody who's not going to do active, and therefore they're going to lag way behind. And if they're, depending on how far behind, they're going to fail. Okay. We need to get them into active mode, with the primary thing being talk to the people that you know. So the number of days prospecting, that's the first part. Are they full-time or are they dual career? Frankly, to me, it doesn't matter when it comes to the number of days they're going to spend prospecting. And here's the reason I say that. We're just talking days. That's it. So a dually or a DC, a dual career, is somebody that could prospect 7 days a week. But how many days are they going to do? They could do 2 days because they got the weekend. They could do all on one day and they spend 6 hours doing it. Would everybody be okay if they had a dual career mentee who spent 6 hours on a Saturday from 9 to 3 just calling and setting appointments? I don't know about you. I'd be good with that, especially if it meets their plan. Now, here's where we're going to cover that, and that is in regards to the total hours prospecting. Now, again, prospecting active. That means this, with it here, this, because they're engaging in conversation through texting. They're out doing this. They're out with the meet and the greet, but they're talking to people directly. So when we look at total hours of prospecting, that's what we want to know. Yes, there's business development. Otherwise, for me, that's the way of saying actively prospecting, actively passive, building business. That would be the Facebooks and all the other stuff that needs to be done to be able to do things passively. Matter of fact, open house, the open house itself is a passive activity. The passive activity. They're sitting, waiting for people to come to them. That is not active. They're in action, but it's not active. Now, what could they do if they're holding an open house? Prior to the open house, they go out and they knock on doors. And they invite people to the open house. And they hold conversations with those neighbors. So number 3 is an obvious one. My plan is to hold one open house. Now, how many should they hold? Being a dual career or a full-time agent, how many open houses? Let's go to the month. How many open houses per month should somebody hold open?
I'd say 4, at least 1 a week.
Yep. So Brenda's saying 4, do 1 a week. Who else?
As many as they can.
Thank you, Shelley. Yeah, I mean, the reality is, look, how bad do you want to be successful? Hold open houses. You're going to get lucky. You don't even need to have sales skills to get lucky holding open houses, because there's going to be people walking in the door saying, hi, we're thinking of moving.
Well, and their sphere, like if they, go live and do a video, or if they post about it, or, try to invite people in via their social media, they're going to look busy. And like, sorry, but I probably see 100 people be like, I'm getting my license. And then I don't see another thing about it.
And
So
boom,
like,
they're gone.
they're gone.
Yeah. They're all excited when they are there in the beginning, and then all of a sudden they disappear. They quit doing what they were doing before they got their license. But in reality, if all they did was continue to do the same stuff, Nicole, you're right on.
Can I
that
throw
video
one
would
other?
be a passive activity, but it's an activity.
Can I throw one other thing in? So something that
Yeah.
like nobody told me to do this, but something that I did when I was new because I was kind of on a lone island, the world just shut down. And I have to stay focused because I'm a squirrel. I chase squirrels all day. But I had to make myself a daily focus card sheet, call it whatever you want. And every day I would write down who I talked to, what we talked about, like if their number changed, all the information. And that was all like in a notebook. I kept my notebook, and like every day, it's almost like I kind of kept a journal, but I would have like on the inside of my notebook, I would have the things I needed to do, like social media. I need to learn this. I need to do this. I need to do my speed board. Like these were the 8 things that I had to do every day. So, okay. So I had the brain to think like that, but there's a lot of things that my brain doesn't think. So like, I don't know if anybody else would be on board with like maybe compiling like a daily focus card, because I feel like the best people in this business are all over the place and they need focus, but sometimes they don't know that. I just knew that about myself. And then,
By the way, you're bringing up a great point of it's not a fits all, but the key is that as we're working with people, what do they need? What's getting in the way of them becoming successful or moving where they want to go? And that would be something to be able to remember, because it's like time blocking your schedule. It could be as simple as that, but with some people, they don't even know what they do, and they don't think they have the time to time block.
well, and so when I wasn't doing it, I'll be honest with you, when I was new, I was kind of guessing at these numbers and I don't even know if I was giving legit stuff, and I would never intentionally falsify anything. But that's also why I kept that journal, is because like, if Lisa asked me how many people I talked to, I don't know. If you don't write it down, like, how do you really know
Right.
how many people you talked to?
Absolutely right. Did you have another thought or idea to that? Or was that it?
No. I think that's it. And then the daily focus card can actually compile the legit numbers. And then also you can go back. This is what I did. I would go back and I would say, okay, what was my plan? Shoot, I said I was going to talk to 10 people a day. It's Friday. I'm 10 under. I got to hammer out 20 people today. And I would just go to town and do it.
You know what, Nicole, you just brought up another excellent aspect, because we can look at that on a daily basis. We can look at that on a weekly basis, and, make the adjustments. So if, when we're looking at the 1-week business plan, this is what the managers would be doing, is now that we put the actual column into there, people can see that, whoops, I only got 3 days and I was supposed to do 5. But I'm okay, because I was going to do 10 hours of prospecting. I got those 10 hours in 3 days. Would everybody be okay if they hit that? Matter of fact, if they got the conversations in, would we be okay that they only did 3 days?
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we look at number 4, then we'll move on down the list. When we look at that, a conversation, we didn't really put too much of a definition to it, other than you talk to a human being about real estate. So if Alana called a for sale by owner, said, hi, my name's Alana, I'm a local realtor, and they hung up on her, I'd call that a conversation. Okay. And again, what we know from what Alex and I have talked about, don't be afraid to call them back and say, I apologize. I think, my cell phone, I got disconnected from you. I wanted to check back in real quick, let you know the reason I called this, and just go with it. But count that as a conversation. That's one person, even if you had to call them twice because they hung up on you, but one conversation. So we haven't put how long. It was just one thing. You had engaged a human being who could say yes in a real estate conversation. Now, number 5 is probably one of the most important things that I think we can have these guys tracking: a lead. And if I define a lead, it would be someone who's looking at making a move within the next 6 to 12 months. And with somebody who's brand new, guys, I'd take it 6 to 18 months. 6 to 18 months. Someone they've identified who's making a move within 6 to 18 months. Key factor for them. And of course, for those that have been in Hard Knocks the last 2 sessions, you know, we've been emphasizing follow-up, follow-up, follow-up. It's establishing leads, follow-up. So number 6, I think that one's pretty clear. We wanted to move it away from any indication. We were worried about how many showings you did. Well, we want to know, how many interviews did you set? Be it a buyer or seller, how many did you sit down with to where you could ask for a contract to be signed? So that's what number 6 is. Buyer or seller, how many appointments did you set first time interview? Then number 7 is exactly what it says. And with this on the report for the managers, you could literally go the number of buyer and / seller interviews. You could divide them if you wanted to. But if they came in and just gave me, you know, one number, I'd be okay with that. But I'm going to ask, well, was that a buyer or is that a seller? Is that a new listing or a new buyer that you got under contract? But it is exactly that. It's a buyer representation contract, or it is a listing that has been signed. Number 8 is exactly what it says. It's any listing that they've taken that has gone pending. We've got an accepted contract. The one thing you notice is missing, closings. Not really worried about it with the mentees, and that's the reason it's not here. Now, when I say not worried about it, from an aspect of development, that's where they go. If they, well, let me clarify number 9 too. A buyer controlled sale is exactly what it says. I had the buyer, we've got a bottom line purchase agreement now. Just like a listing that's gone pending, I've got a buyer who made the offer, which is now pending. It's been accepted, not dealing with closed. It's just a buyer controlled sale. It's a pending offer, just like a pending listing. Okay. We've left the closings off because, guys, here's the thing. If they do number 1, then they're doing number 2. If they hit number 2 and they do number 3, then they're going to have number 4. And the more they do number 4, then they're going to have number 5. Bottom line is we take a look at that, our activities at the top of that chart will reduce down to the point to where they're going to get signed contracts. And if we get signed contracts, we're going to get closings. So that's the reason for this. And what we're looking at is what is their plan versus what they actually did. And that's where the coaching comes in directly from the manager. But yes, as mentors with our mentees, we do need to know exactly what they're doing. This is where the accountability to their goals comes in. Now, by the way, one last part with this, and then we'll open up for any discussion that you might have. The plan. Where does the number for the plan come from? Where should they, or how should they develop those numbers?
Goal projector.
It's the goal projector. They could literally take the numbers from the goal projector and put them onto here. Now, what would make an adjustment? What would be a reason where they would have to or want to make an adjustment? I kind of gave you the scenario. They did 5 days as a plan and they got 3 in. But what they got was at 6 hours instead of the 10 that they planned. What should they make an adjustment for in the next week? Add the hours, of which, look, if the other stuff brought them back into line, I don't care that they didn't get it all in, not completely, but It doesn't matter. They got the end result of what we're doing all of that prospecting for. But if they didn't get it in, how are they going to make up for where they're at? Because they're going to fall short on their own goals should they not get that in. All right. Thoughts, questions?
I think the only thing that I would add, or something that I recommend for my mentees to do, that was recommended to me by my instructor at my real estate class, was he said, if you want to be a six-figure agent, you need to get in front of 10 people a day. Well, that was kind of difficult because that was illegal when I started. So I just made sure I called. And then he said, if you don't, then you need to get through houses. And I think that's why people were like, wow, you've only been doing this for 2 months, 3 months. And you know, this, that, the other. I would go through going shows. Like I would go through the, if it was empty, it was a going show, I would go look at houses. And like, not gonna lie, it was awkward, scary, but sometimes it was cool because when I went for a listing appointment, I could say, hey, I've been through that house. And they're like, wow, really? You've only been doing this for this many months? Yeah, I've been through it. So I don't know that that goes on that sheet, or that's just something that we recommend. But yeah, if you're not getting in front of people, get in front of the houses so you can learn what goes for what and, whatever.
So Nicole, you just brought up something that I used to have as part of Speedboard. And I got a little kickback on it because people said, well, really, what's the benefit to it? And I said, the benefit is market knowledge. Huge, huge benefit of market knowledge. And if you tour, like, here, I'm in Clarkston, I live in Lake Oakland Woods. If a house comes on the market in Lake Oakland Woods, I used to go tour it. And if I was getting into this, then there's, say, which it's not right now, but let's say there's 6 homes on the market in Lake Oakland Woods. Then why don't you go look at those 6 homes in Lake Oakland Woods so that you can learn what that market is doing. If it's the Glacier Club, go tour all the listings that are currently on the market in the Glacier Club. And even to this point, why don't we tour the competition on listings that we're going out on? It'll take us 5 minutes to walk through a house before we go talk to a seller about how theirs compares to this home. And the interesting part, when you do that, often sellers will stay home and they're going to start asking you questions. And occasionally you can get business because you were there and talking to somebody and it's due to expire. I mean, it's not the reason that we do it, but it happens. But above all else, market knowledge and the confidence that it will give you because you are so knowledgeable. And Nicole, I think that's what you were saying was the biggest benefit for you doing that, wasn't it?
Well, yeah. And I think it's just staying active in my business. And then, you leave your business card and you don't lie. You put it as an agent preview. You don't say you got a showing. And then it's something for your social media. And I don't know but
Yeah.
there are a lot of people that just say, well, that's a waste of time. I shut every mentee down. Anybody that tells me something's a waste of time, especially when they're new, I shut them down. Like it strikes a nerve. Like that's what you have is your time. It is your most valuable asset. Use it.
Yeah, what else are you going to do with your time? You're not calling. You can only get so much education. So I'm with you on that, Nicole. Matter of fact, it's the same thing as people saying that open houses are a waste of your time. Well, open houses being a waste of your time is a great excuse not to do them because you say that they're a waste of time. Well, they're only a waste of time if we don't do the right things before, during, and after. And even if we do the right things during, we're gonna get lucky once in a while.
So I don't want to capitalize this, but I do have a quick story on that. So I have that house down in Swartz Creek and it was listed with another realtor for 6 months. It expired. They called me and they said, hey, we want to list this in the spring with you. And I said, okay, well then the market was hot and they were in Florida. And I was like, hey, I know you guys are in Florida, but I think we need to list now. So we're 2.5 weeks in, we've got multiple offers. We're in a highest and best situation. I held an open house 2 weekends in a row, the weekend that I listed it and the second weekend, which happened to be CBP's award ceremony day. And the lady that went to the open house on February 18th is right now my highest and best offer. So I think did I get anything directly? Did I get double sides? No, but I think it's caused momentum. And also it just showed my sellers that like, even if we did sit for 6 months again, at least they felt like I was working for them because they didn't feel like the last agent was.
And I'll tell you what a great opportunity to knock on doors if that's in a neighborhood.
Well, okay, so I didn't because it's an hour away, but the lady that hosted the open house went and knocked on doors because she's 15 minutes away.
There you go. That's the way you do it. I love it. Great share. It's a great share. Guys, what else do you have out there? Questions about the 1 week business plan? What you need help with? I'm going to set a 9-second clock and see if anything comes up.
Well, I hate dead air, so I did want to say, I think I love the layout of that sheet, and since I am new, I don't have a mentee yet. It's my understanding it changed, so that gets submitted to someone else, not myself, correct?
Yeah, so actually for you, Jen, that other tall, dark, handsome Irishman named Bill Finn is responsible. Yeah, I'm talking about you, buddy. But the manager will actually, let me rephrase that. The mentee should bring 2 of those sheets. One is going to be for the upcoming week, which will have only the plan filled in. The other one will be from the week that they've just completed. And it will have now the actual. So they're going to bring the one for the coming week, the one for the past week, and that's the one that we're going to work off of. And we'll adjust to the week that they're coming into if it's necessary based off the week that they've just done. So they'll always bring 2, the mentee will bring 2 to the manager, and then that's going to be the primary tool that the manager can use to actually coach the mentee into the proper actions. So
Gotcha.
great question, good clarification.
And I like that, because I think a lot that I'm learning from you guys is just instilling habits and scheduling to schedule and just checking things off your list, just like Nicole said. I live by them. My toddler makes lists at the grocery store, so that's just how we operate, but little things to check off. One thing I could add is that I've learned from Hard Knocks is putting people in your CRM, and I think having that as a check off, because you think you do it and people ask me, did you add people to your CRM? And I think mentally, she's got a bear. Mentally, yes, I have added them, but have I taken the time to put them in and create a follow-up plan? Maybe not. So just implementing that. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me over here.
Oh yeah, you're great. No, you could hear her, but you were there. If you can't tell, Jen's, what is she, 3-year-old, 4-year-old?
She'll be 4. When are you going to be 4? Can you say Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Hey,
Tuesday.
all right.
Happy
We'll all wait
birthday.
for her. There we go.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Say thank you. Say hi, Mr. Bill.
Hi, Mr. Bear.
Okay.
Hi.
I
So
love
anyway,
it. I love
but
it.
yeah, so I appreciate that stuff, and I think the CRM would be a good habit to instill as well, because the follow-up game is real. It's one thing to make an impression, it's another to keep it.
There we go. So somebody else had to be brought in, huh, Lana?
I was gonna say, she heard happy birthday and came running. So can you say happy
Really?
birthday?
Look.
Or be shy. Oh, we're gonna be shy.
Hi.
Too awesome.
Real life.
Right there is part of the reason why we do what we do, huh? Well, let's see, Jen, you brought up something I think I want to give as clarification. And on one hand, it might sound kind of rude, but here's what we need to know about new agents, brand new agents to the business, what we need to do is to direct, it's not really guide, but we need to direct. They need high directive. It can't be, well, you could go do this, you could go do that. No, they can't make decisions. So you really have to go high directive. And this is where I know Shelley Waters is really great with this. Nicole Freed is really great with this. It's tell them you need to go do this today. And that's why speed board and going and helping them understand today is day one. And matter of fact, for the first, I believe, 10 days, speed board says, have a brief meeting with your manager. I believe more than anything else, the reason for that is get your tailbutt into the office and have that conversation with the manager so that the manager can then go, how was yesterday? Great. Do you have any questions? Awesome. How about for today's activities? You got day 2, go do them. And then they're in the office and they can find out, have questions because the manager is there. You may be there. The administrator is there. There's lots of people that they can ask questions of, get answers and guidance on. But above all else, take away their options and give them high direction. They need that parental nudge to do all the things that they need to do. Okay, so that was a great one with what you gave there. Anything
think
else
that's-
there, guys?
I think that's exactly part of, what made Aaron Martin super successful in Rookie of the Year is the fact that I had, and granted, I was a new agent too, right? Like blind leading the blind, but I was like, hey, so, I'll be in the office and you can come this day and you can come that day and, blah, blah, blah. And this is my schedule so far, but more stuff can get added to it. Like at any time I could get a new call. So, you might, I use the word might. So then I nailed a FISBO and she wasn't there. And so I called her and I was like, a little bit more fierce about it. And I was like, girl, I just got a FISBO and you totally missed it. I will definitely try to recreate it for you. But I'm just saying, like, my brain is kind of like Dory. I might not remember everything I did or said. Like, you need to get your butt in here. And then she did. She followed me around for like 2 weeks. We had long days. It did not scare her off. And I was like, this girl is going to run circles around me. This is great. So
Yeah.
I'm still very much a huge fan of let them tag along with you like a lost puppy. My other guy, 13 deals from June to December. His average sales price is pretty low, but if he were cranking at the average sales price in our market, he's another $5 million agent. And he did not follow me around. So I'm not saying it's like a have to, because he had 3 under 3, like he's got all the odds stacked against him. But I'm a huge fan of it. And there's things that they pick up by watching, even though I don't say what I'm doing. And so that's I kind of told Jeremy and Lisa, I said, don't give me part-timers, like give me the people that are ready to, they want to hit.
Yep.
They want to hit the tippy top of the mountain,
Give me those with the big goals and full-time access to be able to do it. Yeah, I think you're right on with that, Nicole. Take people with you as much as possible and let them see what they're being taught. And if you've gone through the new speed board, you'll see more instructional videos that are part of it that they can watch and just get brief instruction, because I think a long one was 12 minutes. But it'll give them that idea going into it. Alana, what did you have there?
I just kind of wanted to piggyback off that, how she wants like the full-time agents. Like for me, I am a part-time worker. So like, it would be nice, like we're getting mentees that are kind of in our niche here where they have kids or they're part-time dual career. That works better with my schedule too, because hey, I work 3 days in the office. The other days, I'm prospecting or working from home, and that works for me. So I have some insight on how I do it that way.
Yeah, and of course, the way I would put it, Alana, you and Jen are, yeah, we'll call you, you're dual career. Not really. I mean, you are because of what you do. But you have that full-time availability and you both do a great job of controlling your schedule. And it's working because and I think it's, the two of you are great examples as to what you can do and what the benefits of real estate are all about: freedom, flexibility, and the promise of untold wealth. And if we control our schedules and we control the business, then we can do what we want, when we want, whenever we want, because we're making what we want. So I think it's great. And yeah, how awesome it is for you guys to have gone through the program and produce what you are, and now give back and be the example for that being able to work. I'll do a shift. For those on the Blue Crew, if you've got anybody who's going in and saying, hey, I can't get to the agent speed board resource list, panic not. There's something that happened to the link, so I've got to update and forward to you a speed board that has a corrected link. Something changed. I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, the blue link is broken. I'll update that and get it to you. Your manager will have, and you guys should have it, but I would say get speed board that's just saved to your computer so that you have it, and also save the link, the resource. I believe it's called the CBP. Well, it's here. It's either CBP or C21 new agent and speed board resource link. Save that, because everything that they would need would be in that one location on the OneDrive, including speed board and any updates to it. So that is the place for them to go whenever they do need that. Let's see, other questions that were in here. So yeah, Valerie, I'll get that to you. Guys, if you don't have what I just mentioned, probably the best place to get that directly from your manager. Yep, and yes, it's another one of those things that the conversation matching up. It's something that we have talked about with the managers, is to do a match, so that I know Jen, you and I and Bill, we had that one conversation where it's like, look to the personality match. I would put it here, Nicole Freed is not for everybody, because there's a lot of people that couldn't keep up. And so excuse me, there's got to be the proper placement, but looking at like personalities would be a key thing. Let's see, anything else that you guys have got? I've got nothing else on my agenda for you. Anything that you need to bring up? All right, well, I'll share with you a few of us. The Century 21 convention is in the Orlando area this weekend, so I will be out. Miss Brenda's heading down with me. Chris is already down there. I'm getting the frog in my throat. Maybe it's a squirrel. Anyway, we'll see what we can learn and bring back to you. In the meantime, be out there. You guys are producers. We just got to set the example and get everybody else doing the same thing. So we'll go talk to people. And I'm going to.
Darwin, I wanted to say one more thing. You gave me a hard time yesterday, but I got that listing.
Oh, yes. I'm going to try to keep talking. So it's funny because I was giving Alana a little bit of a hard time, because it's like, wait a minute, how dare you set an appointment during Hard Knocks? How could you do such a thing? And it was more just giving her the hard time because it was the appropriate thing to do with the seller's availability. But the one thing is, we have to set a very important lesson for them, which is control your schedule. So I can tell you, we've got about 50 mentors And if you take a look, we've got about 23 people between mentors and managers on. Where are we all at? When this, so I'm probably preaching to the choir here. But we do this the first Thursday of every month at 11 a.m. Now, how is it that I can remember to do all those things? Well, that's because I have a calendar, and this is always important. So it is a great lesson that you brought this up. Let me do screen to share, and then if I just bring up. Oh, don't try to log in, just get out of the way. Oh, it would. Sorry, guys. It's a great thing at your Google account. So y'all, if you're doing this, you know. But here's the thing. Everybody needs to know that I can put this appointment in, and it's going to happen on a repeat. And it's going to go monthly, and it's going to be the first Thursday of every month. So it's just in the calendar and it repeats. So all we've got to do is teach people how to actually use their calendar. And if they do, everything's great. And by the way, if you talk task lists, I'm starting to enjoy more and more what Google does is their task, because it can be right here and it will pop up into the calendar as to when you are supposed to have things done. As you can see, even for me here today, it's telling me I got 4 pending tasks. So it really is becoming a great tool. Don't give them an option. If they don't know, then you say, okay, then here's what you are going to do. And that's kind of, again, that directive. But congrats on getting that listing. Alex showed it to me. And I'm like, yeah, she took a picture of herself out in front of it with coming soon. So good job. Well, do we have anything else, or should we just wrap up?
I have a quick tip I wanted to share that I've been doing with my mentee, if that's
Yes,
fine.
Liz, go ahead. Great.
I know that obviously our focus with them is on their business and getting them clients and stuff like that. But I try to make a point to text my mentee like an encouraging quote or an encouraging picture, or I mean, you can find them on Pinterest or Google.
Yes.
Just to, so every point of contact that you have with them isn't just, did you call this person? Did you call this person? It's like, I believe in you, even, you know, kind of at the beginning when you don't have clients yet, they can get a little discouraged easily, especially if they've gotten beaten up by a expired or a FSBO or whatever. So I try to send them like an encouraging something like that as
Yes.
well.
I like it.
And
I
it
love
seems
the
to
idea.
have very good response. It's always, she always says that they make her day and keep her going. So I just wanted to share that.
Great idea. I love that, Cher.
And I will add to that, that is super huge, okay? Because I will never forget, I remember exactly what I was doing. I can't tell you what day it was, but it was probably a year ago. And Erin was, you know, her bank account was looking pretty slim. She's, you know, herself and her, and that was it. And like she wanted to quit. And I was like, you can quit anytime. Why quit now? And I got that from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's what his rich dad said to him or whatever. And so every time she was like in a spot, I'm like, you know what book you might like? So if you guys ever have a mentee that's willing to read or listen and you don't know what book to suggest based on what situation they're in, reach out to me. I'm sure I have a suggestion for you. And those positive, encouraging books that she was listening to while she was driving all over God's green earth kept drowning out the negativity with the positivity. And that's why she stayed in it, because she almost quit. And then bam, rookie of the year, 5.5 million. Like that was better than me getting any award that I've ever received. Seeing her get that award. That was amazing.
Now, I got to share with you that adds just one more thing that we covered yesterday in Hard Knocks. 36 years for me in this business. And something I've come to realize, when people have their breakdown, if they'll hold on, they will have the breakthrough. Every time there's a breakdown, the breakthrough will come if they'll hold on. So when people have their breakdown with you, and you can do this, now that's got to be done at the right time. But when you can smile because they got it all off their chest and they're feeling better, then you can smile and go, you know what the great news is? You're just about to have a breakthrough because you've had your breakdown. Always. I mean, man, if I was a betting man, or I would put money on anybody that can have a breakdown. If they haven't had the breakdown, they're either having success or they're not working to where they would have a breakdown. So it's one of the two, but that's another great share, you guys. It's why I love to do this. Man, what we can learn from each other. So, all right. Anything else going on, guys? Well, then we don't need to stay for an hour because we've scheduled that. We're going to call it good. Enjoy the day. Enjoy what you can tomorrow. Apparently the major storm is coming, and we're going to be down in Florida inside. Yeah, inside. It's a business trip. So away we go. I always love it. Let's go to a warm place where we'll be inside all day. Anyway, you guys are awesome. We appreciate you. Go out and talk to people. See you guys.